Hi beautiful, welcome to my channel. In today's video I designed my own palette with Lethal Cosmetics and I'm so excited to show you the colors that I chose and the way that I organized the palette. So let's just go ahead and get started. For those of you who don't know them, Lethal Cosmetics is a makeup company from Germany. They are carbon neutral and their products are vegan and cruelty free. I had personally never tried them before I filmed this video, but they have this super cool feature on their website where you can basically customize your own palette. You can make the palette of your dreams. They have something called a palette designer where you can pick the size of the palette that you want to fill. They have hundreds of eyeshadow shades that you can pick from and it's so easy to build your palette. You can basically drag the eyeshadow that piqued your interest to the spot that you want to place it on the palette. If later on you don't like that spot, you can move it around to a different spot. Also, you can switch the shadows with other shadows until you're happy with the way that the palette looks. If you don't like a shadow that you chose, you can very easily delete it. Their palette designer is super user-friendly and intuitive, but if you have any questions about it, they even have a tutorial on their website where they show you exactly how to build your own palettes. One more thing that I absolutely loved about their palette designer is how they even show you swatches of the eyeshadows. I have to say, at the beginning when I started designing my palette, I wasn't using this feature and it helped tremendously in helping me choose the shades that I wanted, because it's different when you see an eyeshadow on the pan than when you see it swatched on skin, and you have more of an idea of what it's going to look like on you. So that is definitely a feature that I love that they have on their palette designer. Swatches are important. Besides letting me pick the palette of my dreams, which I can't wait to show you guys, they also were kind enough to offer me a discount code for my subscribers. So if you use code PATTY, you're going to get 20% off of your entire order. I believe my code will be available for a couple of months. Once I have like an end date to my code, I will make sure to put it in the description box. But for now, if you're interested, definitely go over to their website and use code PATTY for 20% off your entire purchase. Okay, so let me just go ahead and show you guys my Lethal Cosmetics palette. This is what it looks like right here. As you can see, the left of my palette is a little bit more on the warmer side. The right of my palette is a bit more on the cooler side. I definitely wanted to make sure that I had enough transition shades, enough dark colors to deepen up the outer corner of my eye. Of course, I wanted to have some really beautiful shimmery pops of color as well, and so this right here is the palette that I came up with. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of it, and I played with their palette designer in moving my shades back and forth because I wanted to organize my palette in a way where if you guys bought the same exact shades that I bought, which of course that is up to you, but like let's say that you like the color story that I picked and you were to go for the shades that I picked, the way that my palette is organized is kind of by quadrants. So if you use the first quadrant of the palette, that's a look. The second quadrant of the palette, that's a look. The third quadrant is a look, and the fourth quadrant is a look. So each one of those quadrants has a pop of color, has a transition shade, and has a shade that you can deepen up your look with. I made sure of it. Besides that, the Astral shade, which is the first shade that the palette has, is a really beautiful inner corner shade that you can use for any of the looks that you create with this palette. As you can see, I took my job very seriously in designing this palette. Their regular price for designing a palette this size with 12 eyeshadows is $67, and once you use code PATTY and you get your 20% off, the price is going to end up being $53.60, so it's a $13.40 saving, and they are a German company, so you do have to pay a little bit for shipping. Their shipping to the US is $8.99 and they do have 3-day express shipping available. This video is not sponsored, by the way, but since this is my first time talking about this brand to you guys, I wanted to make sure to give you all of the details. So now let me go ahead and show you the swatches. Okay, so here are the swatches of the palette right here. As you can see, the shimmers in the palette are super highly reflective, and all of the colors are overall very smooth. All of the mattes are very smooth. I'm excited to actually play with the colors, come up with some looks, and actually see the types of colors I envisioned when I was picking the colors on the eyes, right? I made sure to have transition shades, deepening up the outer corner shades, pops of colors, inner corner highlights, all of that good stuff. The shades I picked were Astral, Onset, Attitude, Insomnia, Willow, Kindred, Release, Talisman, Archetype, Evoke, Synth, and Deceit. I'm not gonna lie, I was really impressed with those swatches myself. All of the eyeshadows felt super buttery and smooth, but I was even more impressed when I started playing with the eyeshadows on my eyes. I went ahead and did 3 looks for this video, and none of the looks is in the quadrants that I was telling you about earlier. I went all over the place, but I did kind of design the palette that way so that if you do get shades similar to mine, you can place them that way and just always have an idea of exactly a look to come up with without even thinking about what shades to combine with one another, right? So let me go ahead and show you guys those looks. For the first look, I'm going to start with the color Onset, and I have my Rephr number 15 brush, and I'm going to put it right here on the outer half, we'll say, of the crease of the eye, back and forth with my Rephr number 15. A little bit more of that shade, back and forth right here. And these blend very, very easily, and they look super smooth on the crease. This is my first time using these, so I'm excited to finally be trying the formula. With the same brush, I switched to the color Attitude, and I'm going to do that one on the inner crease of the eye right here, blending it into the first color we applied. And this is like a super... it's like in between a light blue and a lilac shade, I would say. This one I'm tapping a little bit and then swiping because it looks more intense when you tap it. There we go. I like that. I switched to my Rephr number 1 and the color Insomnia, and I'm going to pat it right here on the outermost corner of the eye with the Rephr number 1. Okay, a little bit more, and I'm going to start blending it into the crease shade by doing little circles around where I placed it. Okay, this one shade is giving me a little bit of trouble, so I'm going back to building it up some more. And then back with my Rephr number 15, I'm going to blend it into the crease. And I'm adding a little bit more because I wanted it to look really intense on the outer corner. With my Rephr number 28, I'm going to grab the color Synth, and I'm going to put that one on the eyelid. This is the first shimmer I'm using. I'm patting and swiping the shade, and I'm putting it 2/3 of the eyelid in. That duochrome shade is beautiful. I love that. With whatever's left on my Rephr number 1, I'm going to blend the matte and the shimmer back here by tapping my brush over the shimmer shade right there. As you can see, we have quite a little bit of fallout, so I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. I'm going to do my face makeup, and I'll be right back and we'll finish this look up. Back with some makeup on, I'm going to use my Rephr number 26 with the color Astral right here on the inner corner of the eye. And I'm going to swipe it over a little bit, just like that. For the under eye, I'm going to start with the color Insomnia on my Rephr number 3, and I'm going to smudge it right here on the outer corner of the under eye. A little bit more Insomnia. I'm doing it halfway through. And then with my Rephr number 13, I grab the color Attitude, and I'm going to do the inner half of the under eye, back and forth. And with that same color, I'm going to go underneath Insomnia as well to smoke it out, just like this. I am loving that. Let's do a navy blue eyeliner in the waterline. Here we are. I used the Chanel eyeliner in number 30 Marine. And this is look number 1 before mascara or lashes. Let me finish it up, and I'll be right back to show you the final results. I'm obsessed so far. I love it. Here's look number 1 with just mascara on, and let me put on some lashes next. Back with mascara and lashes on, and this right here is my final first look with the Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadow palette that I designed. Absolutely love these colors. The shimmer on my eyelid is my favorite thing from this look. And I have to say the outer corner dark color gave me like a teeny tiny bit of trouble, but once I just added more, which was mainly what I had to do, it looks so beautiful. I love it. Let's move on to look number 2. Let's begin look number 2, and I'm going to use the color Archetype as my transition shade. So with my Rephr number 15 brush, I'm tapping this color all over the crease, and once I have the intensity that I want, I'm going to start blending that upper edge by doing little circles around it, leaving a little space underneath my brow, just like this. That's a beautiful transition shade. With my Rephr number 14, I grabbed the color Willow, and I'm going to intensify the outer corner of the eye and blend Willow into my transition color by doing little circles so that the colors mix together nicely back here. I'm also going to use Willow on the innermost corner of the eyelid. So this is going to be a halo eye. And I'm just blending that color in place right there and into the crease. A little bit more Willow. And this one is blending so easily. With my Rephr number 2 brush, I grabbed the color Kindred, and I'm going to tap that one all over the center of my eyelid. Just patting and swiping that color all over the center here. It's a beautiful peachy shimmer shade. And I'm going to use a little bit of Astral right through the center, right there. Still using my Rephr number 2 brush. Okay, so this is the top of look number 2. I didn't get much follow with these colors at all. I'm going to do my face makeup, and I'll be right back and we'll finish it up. Back with some makeup on, let's finish up look number 2. And I have the color Willow right here on my Rephr number 13, and I'm going to put it right underneath my lower lash line on the outer corner and the inner corner of my under eye, right underneath my tear duct area here. Back and forth with the tip of my Rephr number 13. Okay, it looks like I connected them in the middle, and that's okay. I'm going to use the color Kindred on my Rephr number 3 right in the middle right here. Just tapping and swiping it. And a little bit of Astral right through the center down here. Basically exactly what we did on top. With my Rephr number 2, I grabbed a little bit more Astral, and I'm going to put it right in the inner corner of the eye. Blend it in a little bit. Okay, and this is the top of the second look before mascara and lashes. Let me be right back and I'll show you the final result. Here's look number 2 with just mascara on. Let me go ahead and put on some lashes and I'll show you the final look. Okay, I'm back with lashes on, and this right here is the final second look with this Lethal Cosmetics palette. The darker color I used for the outer and inner corners in this look gave me no trouble at all. It built up immediately, it blended out immediately. It was such a nice soft formula. I absolutely loved it, and I wanted to just make sure I said that because the color Insomnia in look number 1, I had to go back and build up, you know, like a couple of times, and so I thought maybe all of the dark shades were like that, and that's not the case at all. This one is so soft, so blendable, and I really like this eye look that I created, even though this one's a little bit more basic. It's more wearable as well. So yeah, take one last look. Let's move on to look number 3. Let's begin the third look with the color Release, and I'm using it on my Rephr number 15. Tapping it first all over the crease of my eye. A little bit more. I want it to look nice and intense before I start blending it. And I found that with these shadows, the best way to go about it is to first build your intensity and then start blending the edges. So just like this, I'm going to do little circles around it so that it diffuses upwards. Just back and forth with a Rephr number 15 or your big fluffy brush. I'm switching to my Rephr number 1 and the color Deceit, and I'm going to tap it right here on the outer corner of the eye. This one's pretty similar to the first outer corner color we used, which was called Insomnia, but it has a little bit more purple in it. The other one was more blue. And this one, as you can see, immediately packed a punch and it blends super easily. So this one was a really great one. Look at that, that's blended just like that. Then I'm going to use the color Talisman on my Rephr number 2 brush, and I'm going to pack it right here in the center of the eyelid by tapping it in place right here. And this is a beautiful shimmer shade. So pack it, just like this. And now I grab the color Evoke with the same brush, and I'm going to use that one on the inner third of my eyelid here. And I'm also packing it in place. And this color Evoke is like a duochrome pink with blue. It has both colors. It's beautiful. Okay, check that out. Let me define this top edge a little bit by running my brush through it. And just like that, this right here is the top of look number 3. I'm going to wipe off any fallout. I'm going to do my face makeup, and I'll be right back to finish it up. Back with makeup on, and I grabbed the color Evoke on my Rephr number 28, and I'm going to put it on the inner corner of my eye, and also halfway through the under eye here with the tip of the brush, just tapping and swiping down here. Then with the color Deceit on my Rephr number 3, I'm going to do the outer half of the under eye. And in my waterline, I have the same Chanel eyeliner number 30 that I used for look number 1, I believe it was. Everything, of course, is going to be linked down below. So then with my Rephr number 13 and the color Release, I'm going to smoke out the color Deceit underneath the eye. So I'm going halfway in, just underneath where the color Deceit is. Okay, so here is look number 3. I have a little bit of mascara left from looks 1 and 2, so I'm not going to come back with just mascara on. I'm going to do lashes and come back to show you the final look. Okay, here I am back with mascara on, and this is the final third look with this Lethal Cosmetics palette that I picked out the shades for. All of the shades that I used for this look were extremely easy to use as well, and I absolutely love the final result. So yeah, take one last look. Now that you've seen the looks, let me tell you my experience using the eyeshadows on my eyelids. I definitely think that you do need an eyeshadow primer for these shadows. I made the mistake of trying to use them without an eyeshadow primer. For my third look, I believe, I took off looks 1 and 2 and I forgot to prime, and I started just going in with the eyeshadows. And the performance of the shadows without a primer was not as great as I experienced with the first 2 looks. So definitely use your favorite eyeshadow primer underneath these shadows and you're going to have amazing results. And then I really love the performance of every single shade in the palette. The only one that disappointed me a teeny tiny bit was this shade up here, and this right here is the color Insomnia. I really do like the shade, but first of all, it's not too different from this one down here called Deceit, and I think that Deceit performed a lot better than Insomnia did. Every single other shade in the palette performed like absolute perfection. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Maybe if you like the palette, you choose every single one of these shades and then just pick a shade other than Insomnia that you guys like, because at the end of the day I feel like Insomnia and Deceit look pretty close to one another anyways. Okay, so that is all I have for you guys today. I really hope that you guys liked this look. I honestly had a ton of fun creating my palette and creating the looks for it. I went a lot more colorful than I would have ever expected me doing creating a palette, but I have no regrets. I really liked all of the looks that I came up with today, and I like that they're not boring, which I tend to gravitate towards a lot, right? So I love you guys so much. Don't forget to use code Patty for 20% off if you are interested in designing your own palette. Definitely check out their website and their palette designer because they have so many shades to choose from. I'm sure that you all are going to find something that you like. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I hope that you don't leave without subscribing. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I hope to see you back in the next video. Bye!